Like mother, like daughter, it's a family affair, and volunteering to fight heart disease and stroke. What's it all about? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the 11th annual American Heart Ball to be held this Saturday at the Myrtle Beach Marriott Resort at Grand Dunes. And we're visiting with Elaine Thompson, one of the co-chairs. Good morning, Elaine.
Good morning.
Thank
Glad
you
to be here.
so much for coming in. We're this close to the gala.
I know. I can't believe all this time and preparation has come to an end finally.
It's amazing. You were with us about 2 months ago as we were prepping and thinking that far out. And, of course, there was so much has happened in the interim.
It's a big deal to put it together. I had no idea until I became a co-chair how much work is involved, and it takes a large team of people to pull this together and bring it off. And the time is finally here, and it looks like it's going to be a great success. So we all look forward to it.
You know, Glenda McIntyre is coming to be in with us this Wednesday. Of course, she was with us last year leading up to the Heart Ball, and last year they had a goal of 230-some and broke 250,000. Of course, this year you all have a goal of 285,000. So many folks hear those numbers, they're like, that's incredible. How can anyone in this community go out and raise almost $300,000? But you all are really on target to drive that number through the roof.
We really are, and it seems unattainable when you see the goals that the Heart Association sets for our area director Tammy Eves every year, but everything comes together, and the unattainable happens when people open up their wallets and their generosity pours out.
Is it really heart disease and stroke that drives people to do it, Elaine?
I think it is, and I think that they want to help others, and this is just one way to help other people, especially locally, because heart disease is such a killer locally in Georgetown counties. So it's a way to help all of us, help our children. And it permeates through the schools and through the hospitals and educational programs, through devices that they use to keep people alive when they come into the hospital. It just it's a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, everyone is thrilled about this Saturday night. Real quick about yourself, Elaine. Are you originally from the area?
No, I'm from Sumter, South Carolina. I'm an Air Force brat. My dad was a pilot in the Air Force, and we settled at Shaw Air Force Base and traveled out of there for years, but each time came back there. So I like to say I'm raised in Sumter, South Carolina.
Do you still have family in Sumter?
I do. My mother is still there, but the rest of my family, I'm one of 5 brothers and sisters. We're spread out throughout the country.
Yeah, where do you sit in the pecking order there, 1 to 5?
I'm the second oldest.
Is that right? Yeah, you're number 2. My mother's the middle of 5. Yeah. That's a great 5 kids are amazing hearing her talking about that growing up.
Oh, you turn out to be a great helper as you grow up.
Yeah, that's right. She sure did a lot of that up for us. What about that aspect of growing up in Sumter and now, I guess, remaining much of your life in the Palmetto State?
Well, I love South Carolina. I really do, and I'm so thankful to live in Myrtle Beach and to have seen the growth that's happened here in the last 25 years that I've lived here. But one of the things that I've seen grow so much, I'm married to a physician, and when we first moved to Myrtle Beach, the hospital didn't have a cardiac care center, but it had 2 or 3 cardiologists. And my husband is one of their partners. And the hospital was small, and everyone knew everyone else, and now he doesn't even know who all the other doctors are. So it's things like the Heart Ball, in a selfish way, are a good way for him to get to know other people that he doesn't have time to know when he's working. And everyone wants to take part in this. Oh, yeah. So we look forward to it, and for many reasons.
Grand Strand Regional has grown tremendously. The area has grown tremendously. And, of course, I'm sure your husband's practice has grown. It has.
He has. When he moved here, he is a gastroenterologist, that's a stomach specialist, and 2 of his partners are that as well. But 6 of his partners are cardiologists. And so heart disease is #1 topic sometimes in their office, talking about taking care of critically ill people.
I'm sure. Golly, Elaine, when you think about taking on this challenge as a co-chair, was Glenda doing some heavy twisting behind the scenes? Did you think about it last year at the gala? What was it that prompted you to go ahead and accept the responsibility?
Well, Of course, Glenda and I have been great friends for a long time. We were co-chairs of the auction 2 or 3 years ago, and I just thought this was the next level to be even more involved. And I have a missionary heart in a way, and so this, to me, this is in a way it's sort of a local missionary project. And so to me, it's giving back. It's being able to help others.
I think I saw, talking about missionary, I think I saw that you'd overseen or helped put together, orchestrated some mission trips down to Mexico within the last 5 years.
Oh, in the last 2 years, yes.
Wow.
I coordinated 2 trips to Mexico to build homes for people who lived in cardboard huts. And this was through an outfit called CPC, which is Constructors for Christ out of Birmingham, Alabama. But I've been very blessed to be able to be part of that, and I'm involved in missions in Myrtle Beach as well, and that's why I see helping people with heart disease and being able to raise the standard of their life as part of a missionary project.
Absolutely. What was that like, visiting down, being down in Mexico? That's pretty intense. You were on the trips as well.
Yes, I was.
¿Y hablas español?
Right, poquito.
Poquito.
I'm very, very happy to be part of it. We took 12 people the first time we went, and then this past year we took about 20 people down, and we built a house for a family in 4.5 days.
Oh no!
It's a miracle, and you say, you can't do it by yourself. You've got to have the Lord's help. And so we put it together and left a family that didn't have shelter to live in with a house.
Wow, that must be a tremendous
It was
feeling.
wonderful. It really is.
In so many ways, you think of doctors at whatever aspect of the hospital they work in, who know that they're really changing and helping impact somebody's life, either saving a life or keeping somebody in the right direction. When you're on a trip like that and helping to put a roof over someone's head, I'm sure you probably have that same sense of, golly, I've really made a gigantic difference in someone's life.
Well, I just feel like you're empowered to do that, and it's not you that does it. But my husband went this year, and he went the first time as well, and it has changed his life just being part of that. It's looking at how people live from the aspect or the perspective that you don't see around here. It's poorer than that. But these people have needs worse than a lot of people, and it doesn't matter. Wherever you live, people have needs. You just want to answer the call when the call comes to help.
Have your kids been involved with that as well, Elaine? I think you said 4 kids, didn't you?
I have 4 kids, 2 of them are grown, or 3 of them are grown, and I have 1 at home. But they haven't been involved in mission projects, but they're busy making their lives right now.
Right.
I sent one of my children to Egypt yesterday. So.
Oh, come on.
I
Wow.
did. Yes. She'll be there learning Arabic for 6 months. And
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So that's her project.
Yeah. What set the stage for that? Is that something she's been thinking about for a long time?
She graduated from Davidson College, and she was a political science major, and she wants to go to a specialized Middle Eastern studies graduate school. And in order to get in the graduate school of her choice, which is at Johns Hopkins University, she has to know Arabic.
Really?
So she is in Egypt right now, and she starts school next week, and we won't see her again until June. But
wow.
You raise them to spread those wings and fly.
That's tremendous, Elaine. That must have been, is that the first time she's left you knowing that you're not going to see her for 6 months?
No, she's been in Malaysia and she's been in Israel twice, just in the last 3 years. So this has become old hat to her to be able to
She's been spreading her
take
wings for a while, yeah. That's great. And of course, Davidson's such a great school, and it sets the stage for folks taking trips like that.
Yes, it does. It does. It opens doors that sometimes other schools don't open it for kids. But I think what it did for her was just it showed her possibilities she might not have seen otherwise. But I'm thankful for that. And I have a 16-year-old daughter at home too, so I'm still pretty busy watching after her.
Yeah, Elaine, that's great. I think I'd seen you were a PE teacher for a while as well. I know we talked a little about this a couple of months ago when you were with us, and I know our big focus is this Saturday night, as well as trying to talk about some of the volunteer needs this week in the Heart Association office, which are tremendous, the phone calls and otherwise. But real quick, your experience as a PE teacher, and I think one of the organizers of a local school.
I was a runner for 20 years until I had to stop with a physical injury. But to me and my family, physical fitness is pretty close to the top of what we do to take care of ourselves. And it's just been, I believe that when you instill it in yourself, you can instill it in your children. And if they see that, you are mirrors for your children. I believe that. And if your children see you make that a priority, it will become a priority for them. And so with heart disease in my family, fitness has always had to be a priority. And that's what we do. But I taught physical education at Christian Academy for off and on for 7 years, but full time for 4 years. And I just, for me, I wanted to instill in the kids that it's fun to exercise. It shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be something they feel like they've just got to do because it's a course in school. It should be fun.
Yeah.
And because it's fun, they need to work it into their lives on an everyday basis.
What age were these kids, Elaine?
They were from kindergarten through 8th grade.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And we used to do all kinds of fun things with them. We did the President's Physical Fitness Program every single year where they had to reach goals.
Right.
We would practice for months and months before the test, and then they would take the test to see if they passed it. And there were prizes given at the end of the year if they were able to make those goals.
Yeah, this was a little while back, I know. You know, both my brothers are school teachers, and my mom was a teacher, my dad's a professor, and I always wanted that aspect when you see your former students out in the community doing other things, going off to college, you hear about how they're doing. What's that like for you to know you played a part in their maturation, their upbringing?
Well, most of the time I'm just happy to see them and happy that they remember me.
Yeah.
But I like to see kids. I just like to see them going on with their lives.
Yeah, that's exciting. You know, this Saturday's getting so close, and it's amazing. As we say, last year's event, you're there. You've chaired or co-chaired the auction committee a few years ago, and I know we had Todd Harms for the last 2 or 3 years. It was so tremendous. And now Mary Jo Rogers, who has just been out treading all over town, being a part of everything, and her amazing committee, making this year's 11th Annual American Art Ball that much more successful. And, of course, break down for viewers what are the different avenues to raise funds. There's the sponsorships, tickets, and, of course, the auction.
Mm-hmm. There are the sponsorship tickets. Those are opportunities from $1,000 to $22,500. You can contact the Heart Association. It's 626-3939 to talk to our area director, Tammy Eves, about that. And I'm sure she would be happy to talk to anyone at any time about a sponsorship opportunity. Our tickets for the tables for the dinner are sold out at this point, and we're really thankful for that. I mean, that might sound like a roadblock to some people trying to raise money for the Heart Association, but we're just so thankful that so many people want to go this early that they've stepped up to the plate and bought their tickets early, and now we're at a point that we've started a waiting list. But you can always think about next year, and
Sure.
maybe we'll find a place next year that holds more people. And then we're going to have an auction.
Right.
There'll be a silent auction that night, and I think what we decided was we're going to do the silent auction for 5 or 6 items. It's not decided for sure right now.
The live auction, yes.
For the live
yes,
auction.
Right.
We'll have a Segway, which is a motorized vehicle that you see. I've seen a few personally before, a human transporter. We're going to have desserts and a champagne party. That will be auctioned off. We'd hope to get a puppy, and that may still happen, but I'm not sure at this point. We have art, and then there are all kinds of things in the regular auction where you can go around and bid against your friends if you want to all night long for things. We have vacations, and we have airline tickets.
Right.
We have parties at your home done by local chefs. We have oodles of art. We have home closing for two houses, which is a first. We've never had that before. They're just you just have to see the list of over 150 things that we have for the auction that you can bid on that night, which hopefully will raise lots and lots of money for this cause.
Oh yeah, and of course, as we talked about, to be at a point right now with the sponsorship tickets having been appropriated, around $175,000, another 30 or so thousand raised, and individual ticket sales, you said, having sold out the event, and then the opportunity to raise funds through the auction, both silent and live, as well as through the gift bags with the amazing properties inside those bags, as well as the opportunity to really be moved by Lance and Marjorie's story about their daughter Savannah and their entire family having dealt with Williams syndrome and heart disease and strokes on myriad levels throughout their family. So it's a tremendous evening and a tremendous way to raise funds. And of course, for so many folks who can't attend and can't be a part, there's still opportunities to make a donation directly, to call that number you said, 843-626-3939.
That's right. I'm sure Tammy, our area director, can find a lot of things for people to do. At this point, we have a lot of volunteers, but we would never say no to anyone who wants to come and help that night. And you mentioned the bags. We're going to sell 100 bags. They're gift bags with for $50 each, and we're going to have prizes in those. And the grand prize for one of those bags will be $1,000.
$1,000 cash. Good time. I love it.
When you get there that night, for those people that are watching that are coming to the Heart Ball, don't forget about the gift bags, because they'll be for sale, and I'm sure with just 100 of them, they're going to sell out right away.
Quickly. That's right. That's a great opportunity if someone picks up 5 of them. I mean, you know, it spends $250. They've got a real opportunity to.
Oh, right. Right. And even if you don't win the $1,000, there's going to be all kinds of good things in the bag that will equal what they paid for it.
That's right. That's right. They've got some great things in there. Here in last week at one of the committee meetings, and that's so important, Elaine, y'all have been constantly meeting, whether it's weekly, and I know y'all have a meeting tomorrow. You've got the meeting last Tuesday up there at Grand Strand Regional. You've been meeting all over. There's auction committee meetings. What has that been like for you?
It's been like a full-time job this year.
Yeah.
But which I'm very happy to have taken that on as a job. So, but it takes a lot of planning, and it doesn't take a lot of planning from just me. It takes a lot of planning from everyone on the committees, and it takes all those committees to run well in order to pull this big, huge, successful event off. But we have had meetings. It was every other week, and now it has been for the past month every week.
Right.
Until the Heart Ball.
With this last week leading up to it, I know I'm sure you've got a meeting tomorrow, Tuesday. You've got probably another meeting between now and then, a series of meetings. And of course, when you and I were talking before we started the interview about needs in the office this week, putting together bid sheets or table tents or making phone calls, picking up auction items. The volunteer needs are deep this week leading up to this Saturday night. Right.
And yes, that's right. But most of those, by the time this show airs, most of those will be taken care of. What we're going to need is volunteers for the night of the Heart Ball. So if anyone wants to volunteer to help us out that night, we could really use you, and we'd really be thankful for your help.
Yes, that's a registration. That would be on helping move some of the bags. That
selling
would be
the gift bags.
Right.
We'll need people to help during the auction to identify people who have decided to buy things. And then there are a lot of behind-the-scenes things that Tammy could talk to people about. And there will be training for people if you say, well, I'm just not sure that since I've never done anything like this before, I'm not sure I can do that. There will be training for everything that the volunteers do, so you don't have to come. You don't have to come and feel like you're going to be lost that night.
That's great. Folks can simply call the 843-626-3939 to sign up, as well as to offer their services all this week, making calls and accepting calls. Tammy said they are just slammed in the office. People are calling so much now, Elaine, still to try to get in.
They are.
To get on that waiting list.
As I said, there's a waiting list. That's right. And we just hope everybody remembers us again for next year and gets their tickets early, because
February
we really
27th.
Want. That's right. We really want everybody to come that wants to come.
Now, who's going to turn your arm to be a co-chair next year, or to be the chair, Elaine? I'm sure they've started talking to you about that already.
No, I think Tammy likes to find new
blood.
New blood each year. New enthusiastic new blood, and so I'm sure she's got somebody in mind, and they'll be just perfect for it.
Oh yeah, well, Chief Judge Wilson's going to be with us on Friday to share some of the activities, and to have the three of you all, these three amazing ladies in town who obviously can tap multiple sources, and you and Glenda. It being kind of old hat to y'all. Share with viewers some of the challenges y'all have faced this year. Some of the biggest, are there challenges out there when you put it together, or is the biggest challenge just getting good volunteers and keeping them excited and motivated and reminding them of deadlines? And
It's all those things, but for a lot of people, the people who get tapped for the auction items seem to get tapped for every cause, and so approaching those people and having them be open to being able to keep giving, and for the most part, everybody gives over and over again. It's been amazing. how many people have been approached already, but they're always very, very generous and willing to give us more. But yes, it takes a lot of people to contact those people for the auction items, and then we have to check and make sure that they've got those ready, and then we have to collect those things. And now we've got to take them over to the Marriott and set them up and have everything ready to go that night so everyone can see them.
There's two very local events that surround the Heart Ball. 2 weeks ago, the Kingston Gala up there at Kingston Plantation for Conway Medical Center Foundation. 2 weeks after the Heart Ball is the Save Our Cats Ball, the 3rd or 4th annual. Another group tapping, a local group tapping.
Right.
So many of the donors for volunteer or time, or as well as auction items. So it is tough, but of course the gala and the opportunity to reach almost 1,000 folks with your auction items you're donating, but it's also tremendous exposure. And there are still needs all week long. You can turn in. Mary Jo has said we'll take items up till the last day. Is that right?
That's right. It may not make it into the program, but it will be available for auction that night, and it will sell, and you will get a tax slip for it if you would like to donate. And I just really quickly have to thank everyone who has given to our auction this year, because their generous hearts make it possible for us to raise money for the Heart Association and give back to this wonderful cause.
So many needs. You think about just organization and filing, all the aspects that go into keeping all the files straight, all the credit cards straight when folks buy tickets, when they call in, when folks are registering, some of the things that have to happen. What are the critical needs there at registration as the 8 or 10 volunteers you have? What are they focused on as the folks are piling in?
Well, I think they have to make sure that the paperwork has we try to find out who is coming before they actually get there, so that the paperwork is prepared. And then when they do come, we try to expedite the registration process so they don't have to spend too much time there, so they can go into the auction and see those items and then go on to have dinner, a wonderful dinner, and dance later. But it takes volunteers to go through training to know what they're supposed to do to get ready for that. And then there are other volunteers in other areas that are going to help it run even more smoothly. But yes, we want this to be a flow from the time they come in, just a wonderful evening, and not be slowed down by registration or paperwork.
Right.
And all that will be done.
Man, I think last week Glenda McIntyre talked about a martini bar. How'd y'all line that up?
Well, it was just somebody on the committee knew someone that they thought might want to provide a martini bar, and it seems that more and more people are drinking martinis, so that we got someone to donate that has just been wonderful, and I think that it will it will just be a big splash.
Yes, Chris Giannis distributing.
Yes,
a big commitment there, as well as coming in with more Coors or other that product, Coors Light, other products there, as well as a big sponsorship.
Right, and Aleph Wines has donated all the wine, which is a huge donation. It really is. It's just so many people from so many different parts of Horry County have given to make this night possible. We were just really, really thankful for their generosity.
It is kind of overwhelming when you sit back and think about it. Of course, Lance will be with us on Thursday, and that impact, the touching component of that, and to really help keep the focus on the evening in an appropriate sense.
It will. It does. It brings back more locally where this money is going and the difference that it's made in people's lives.
Truly. When you sit back and think about your own childhood, Elaine, you think about aspects in life and the impact of adults on your life, and now you look back at your children, and obviously one heading off to Egypt yesterday. You think about the impact of upbringing and how dramatic it can be. It's nights like this weekend that help set the stage to continue to provide. I think we've got a special volunteer in your family that's coming in this Saturday night. Is that right?
Right. My daughter Elizabeth is going to be helping, and she's going to have a couple of her friends with her that are going to try and sell the gift bags. But to me, this is just another way of her beginning to give back to her community and just sharing of herself. So she's looking forward to it.
That's great. Those are great words. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Today, Elaine.
It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Elaine Thompson coming up next. You've seen those U.S. Army signs, "We need you." It's the Heart Association now. They still need you. It's a critical week leading up to the 11th Annual American Art Ball. When you start thinking about events that try to raise $285,000, $300,000, you know there's got to be a lot of volunteers. If you got any time this week, be like Elaine Thompson, be like Glenda McIntyre, be like Jennifer Wilson, and all the other volunteers that'll be there. You heard her talking about her own daughter this Saturday night. Folks are coming out of the woodwork. You can be involved this week in the office. Call 843-626-3939. It's making things like table tents. It's answering the telephone. What's a table tent? Well, just letting folks know where they're seated, seeing a number on there, filling out different forms, bid forms, letting folks know what they're about to bid on to try to drive prices up. It's getting registration materials put together. It's getting tables confirmed, who's sitting at what table. There's a lot of needs in the office. There are only 3 full-time staffers. Michelle and Janine and Tammy can't do it all themselves. Give them a call, 843-626-3939. If you don't have a ticket, if you can't make a donation, give us some time. The American Heart Association needs you.